Hello everybody, today we're going to be looking into and discussing how Windows Update functions and gives your computer the updates it needs to keep stable and up to date. This video is based off of the Microsoft Docs article, which will be linked in the description. Just so this makes sense, we'll be looking into a few words. There's quite a few to remember, so I'll break it down for you. An update is a term used to define the actual updated code or change. A bundle update is an update that contains one end child updates, and it doesn't contain a payload in itself. A child update is a leaf update that is included by another update, and it includes a payload. A detector update is a special update that contains is installed applicability rule only, and no payload. It's commonly used for prereq evaluation. Category update. This is a special detectoid that has an is installed rule that is always true, commonly being used for grouping updates and to allow the device to filter them. Full scan. Scan with an empty data store. A delta scan. Scan with updates from previous scan already cached in the data store. Online scan. Scan that uses the network to check and update a server. An offline scan is a scan that never uses the network and checks the local data store. Only useful if an online scan has been done prior to this. Cat scan. Category scan, where caller can specify a category ID to get updates published under the category ID. App cat scan. Category scan, where caller can specify an app category ID to get apps released under that app category ID. Software sync. Part of the scan that only checks for software updates. Includes apps and operating systems. Driver sync. Part of the scan that checks driver updates only. This sync is optional and runs after the software sync. Product sync. A sync based on attributes, in which the client provides a list of device, product and caller attributes ahead of time to allow the service to check applicability in the cloud. That was quite a few, wasn't it? Well, if that doesn't stick in your head, you can just turn back to look, or just continue on if you don't care. When a user starts scanning in Windows Update through the Settings app, the scan generates a COM API message. The caller, Microsoft Defender Antivirus, tells the Windows Update engine to scan for updates. Agent messages, queuing the scan, then actually starting the work. Updates are identified by different IDs, ID 10 and ID 11, and from the different thread ID numbers. Windows Update uses the thread ID filtering to concentrate on one task. A service ID indicates which update source is being scanned. The Windows Update engine treats every service as a separate entity, even though multiple services may contain the same updates. The engine looks for protocol talker messages to see client-server sync network traffic. SOAP faults can either be client or server-side issues. The Windows Update client uses the Service Locator service to discover the configurations and endpoints of the Microsoft Network update sources, Windows Update, Microsoft Update, or Flighting. On sites that only use the WSUS or Configuration Manager, the Service Locator service might be blocked by the firewall. In this case, the request will fail, and though the service can't scan against Windows Update or Microsoft Update, it can still scan against WSUS or Configuration Manager, since its configuration is local. Once the Windows Update Orchestrator determines which updates apply to your computer, it will begin downloading the updates. If you have selected the option to automatically download updates, it does this operation in the background without interrupting your normal use of the device. When an update is applicable, the arbiter and the metadata are downloaded. Depending on your Windows Update settings, the arbiter will gather details from the device and compare that with the downloaded metadata to create an action list. The action list describes all the files needed from Windows Update, and what the installation agent, such as CVS or Setup, should do with them. The action list is provided to the installation agent along with the payload to begin the installation. When the option to automatically install updates is configured, the Windows Update Orchestrator, in most cases, automatically restarts the device for you after installing the updates. It has to restart the device as it might be insecure or not fully updated until it finishes restarting. You can use the group policy settings, mobile device management or the registry editor to configure when your devices will restart after a Windows 10 or 11 update is installed. So that is what your computer does every time you update Windows 10 or Windows 11. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!